A roundup of the latest news now. Here are our top stories. Buoyed by record profits, US tech giant Amazon acquires the G7 group of nations. We'll be speaking to Amazon founder and CEO Jeff Bezos. A day in the life of a crowd noise sound engineer. We'll have an exclusive interview with Stamford Bridge crowd noise director Daryl Jacobs. UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson announces the gradual easing of lockdown. We'll be speaking to a public health expert to help explain the changes. And the self-proclaimed Thong Appreciation Society of Australia, TASA, greets R&B singer Cisco, best known for the Thong song, on arrival at Sydney Airport ahead of his concert there. More on those top stories to come. First to US tech company Amazon, which has just acquired the G7 group of nations. The group, which includes Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, the UK, and the United States, represents 58% of global net wealth and 46% of global GDP. The acquisition means that those countries' governments are now under the control of Amazon's board of directors. Joining me from his Beverly Hills home is Amazon founder and CEO Jeff Bezos. Jeff, thank you for joining us. 2020 has been a record year of profits for Amazon, with $386 billion of sales revenues, up over $100 billion from the year before. You've just reclaimed top spot on the Forbes Rich list with a personal net worth of $179.6 billion. With pandemics and restrictions remaining in place worldwide, consumers have been turning to online retail. The pandemic has been great for Amazon, hasn't it? Hi, Bob. Thank you for having me. First of all, I just want to make clear that Amazon is not an advocate of the pandemic. We have staff members who have lost their lives or lost loved ones during this crisis, and we in no way wish the current pandemic to continue. Having said that, yes, it has been a good year for Amazon, and there is no doubt that the effects of the pandemic and inclination toward online retail has helped with that. Why the decision to acquire the G7? Well, we've been considering this move for a while now. We figured that we'd like to have a little more control over the markets that generate the most profit for us globally. So things like removing barriers to trade, changing tax laws so that Amazon, but also others, can keep their tax bills low, and so on. On the subject of tax, Amazon generated more than $11 billion of profit in the US in 2018, but paid zero federal taxes. In fact, Amazon received a federal tax refund of $129 million that year. In the UK, Amazon has only been subject to a 2% digital sales tax since April 2020. Before that, the company came in for a lot of criticism over how little tax the company pays in the UK despite the huge profits it generates here. What sort of example does that set to others? And is there not a conflict of interest in Amazon effectively being judge, jury, and in the dock as taxpayer, so to speak? Just to be clear, even though our board of directors will be in control of G7 governments, we'll still have to go through the domestic lawmaking process. So House of Representatives, Congress, I guess Parliament in the UK, and so on. So this is not a blank check for Amazon. But you still have the power to override scrutiny and dictate policy and laws. Is this not the end of democracy as we know it, if tech giants like Amazon are allowed to acquire entire nations? I don't think it is, Bob. We'll be working hand in hand with existing governments, processes, structures. We'll be partnering with everyone from heads of state, legislatures, all the way down to the little guy delivering an Amazon Prime order or collecting garbage. Jeff Bezos, thank you very much indeed. With Premier League football grounds remaining crowd-free due to the current lockdown, attention has turned to an overlooked group of new players on the English football scene. Crowd noise sound engineers. Joining me from Stamford Bridge, Chelsea FC's ground, is crowd noise director Daryl Jacobs. Daryl, thank you for joining us. Tell us what a crowd noise sound engineer typically does.
Hello, Bob.
Yeah, well, basically, if a team is approaching the opposition goal, we've obviously got to crank up the noise, the crowd cheering sound effects to make it sound like a fully attended game. So I've got a series of buttons, dials, and levers in my studio here that allow me to recreate the effects of crowd noise, essentially. So managing crowd noise is a manual job. It's not automated or computer generated at all. Nah, Bob, I'd be out of a job if that was the case. We don't have the technology for a computer to recognise what is happening in the game and when cheering needs to be introduced. We did trial it early on and it was a disaster. I mean, we had the computer cheering when the ball went out for a throw-in, stuff like that. What are the sorts of challenges you've faced in the job? Well, I'm not going to lie, occasionally we'll miss something, especially if it's one of them where the ball hits the side netting and we think it's a goal, so we bring in goal celebration crowd noise and it obviously then turns out not to be a goal. Sometimes we're a bit slow to react, so you might get a goal go in and the cheering follow a few seconds later, but normally we get it right. Do you also direct crowd noise in other sports like golf, cricket? No, just football. I mean, golf's normally just a bit of throat clearing and low-level applause at most. And cricket, I mean, in this country, you hear fuck all from the crowd on a cricket pitch. Daryl, thank you. UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson has announced a plan to gradually ease and eventually end lockdown in England, with many unclear on how and when restrictions will be eased. But we've called on public health expert Dr. Ivo Pandemic to explain all. Dr. Ivo, thank you for joining us. What do we need to know?
Hello, Bob. So basically it's pretty simple. Step 1, on 8 March, schools reopen and outdoor recreational activities in public places, which can include the picnic, etc., between 2 people will be allowed. Step 2, from 29 March, 6 people or 2 households can meet outdoors, including in private gardens, outdoor sports facilities open, organized sports allowed, travel outside local area allowed. Step 3, from 12 April, non-essential retail and personal care, meaning barber, hairdresser, etc., gyms, swimming pools, self-contained holiday accommodation will reopen. Step 4, 17 May, you can take your dog and another person from another household with their dog, provided that the total number of humans and dogs does not exceed 4.5, outdoors and also meet indoors, provided indoor encounters are limited to a maximum of 2 hours with face masks deployed on both humans and dogs. Step 5, 21 June, you may take your budgerigard to the local park, taking care not to release it into the wild permanently, otherwise it will be likely killed by crows or birds of prey. Step 6, from 21 July, you may book a holiday but not travel until you are able to take a PCR test while simultaneously reciting every single lockdown restriction introduced since March 2020, which will be checked by medical staff and confirmed in a medical report. Step 7, from 21 August, if you re-enter the country following travel abroad, you must quarantine at your own cost for a total of 336 hours at a facility operated by a dodgily appointed private sector hospitality facility in order to keep the hospitality sector afloat and ensure that brown envelopes from hotel groups to UK politicians can be submitted. Step 8. From 21 September, you may purchase unlimited amounts directly from high street retailers, provided that you match each purchase with an equivalent purchase from Amazon. This will be regulated by an automatically installed tracking app developed by Amazon, which will track all cash withdrawals and purchases with your credit or debit card. Step 9.
Dr. Ivo, I'm afraid we're running out of time, so we're going to have to leave it there. Thank you very much indeed. To Australia now, and US R&B singer Cisco, famed for the Thong Song, has arrived in Sydney to perform there as part of a music festival. He was met at the airport by members of the Thong Appreciation Society of Australia, which has adopted the Thong Song as its anthem. The Thong variety, which is the focus of the group, Tazza for short, is of course the thong, which in Australia tends to mean flip-flops or beach sandals. The thong variant featured in Cisco's song is of course a reference to revealing underwear or swimwear. I spoke to TASA chairman Steve Quinlan from Sydney Airport. Steve, thank you for joining us. Why did you and your members travel to Sydney Airport to meet Cisco?
Hello, Bob. We love Cisco. We're huge fans of the bloke. His song about thongs has become our anthem. There's no better fit. It was a no-brainer, mate.
How did you greet Cisco when he arrived?
We threw both types of thongs, the undies and the beach thongs, into his path at the arrivals terminal, while also singing the thong song. I think he was kind of confused at first, but then broke into a smile. He loved it. I mean, the guy's a fucking legend.
Are you able to give us your rendition of the thong song?
Yeah, that'd be my pleasure, mate. Hang on, let me just get the band together here. Sorry about the sound effects here, Bob, just in the airport. Hang on, let me just get away from the sound. 1 second.
Oh, that's better, mate. Here we go.
This thing right here is letting all the ladies know what guys talk about. You know, the finer things in life. Ha ha, check it out. Ooh, that dress so scandalous, and you know another nigger couldn't handle it. So you're shaking that thing like who's the ish, with a look in your eyes so devilish. Oh, you like to dance to the hip-hop spots, and you cruise to connect the dots. Not just urban, she liked to pop, cause she was living La Vida Loca. She had dumps like a truck, thighs like what, baby move your butt. I think I'll sing it again. She had dumps like a truck, thighs like what, all night long. Let me see that thong, baby. That thong. I like when it beat go, when you make a beauty go. That thong. That dress so scandalous, and I know another any hand.